Welcome to our virtual Wild Wines event. I'm Zoo Director Susan Altrui, and I'm so excited that you're joining us this evening. Tonight, we're going to take you behind the scenes to see some fantastic animals. There'll be lots of fun surprises that you're going to see along the way. You're going to be able to see some of our fantastic animal staff and see some of the great care that they provide. You're also going to get the chance to bid on some one-of-a-kind animal art and other great, fantastic items that all help us with our mission of conservation learning. We're so incredibly grateful to have you as part of our zoo and part of our mission of conservation education. Tonight, I'm joined by our fantastic auction host, Corey Michaels, who's going to now take it away.
Susan, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be able to be a part of the very first virtual Wild Wines. Now, this is an event that has been going on for years now.
It has, more than a decade, and it's unfortunate that we can't have it here at the zoo. It's something that patrons have really enjoyed doing for many years. But it's fortunate that we're able to do it in a creative new way online, where you can bid on some fantastic items. You can enjoy the event in the safety of your home and have some of that fantastic O'Looney's wine.
Yes.
I wish I could have some in front of me right now, matter of fact. But I am definitely going to have some when I go home later tonight.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you. But I know many of the folks that are out there tonight that are following along with us are definitely enjoying some of it. And that's been one of the things that I think folks have really enjoyed about this event for many years. Matter of fact, AY Magazine and Arkansas Times readers have voted this event the best fundraiser in the state 2 years in a row, if you can believe that. So one of the best food and wine festivals that we have in our state is Wild Wines. So it is a shame we can't have it in person, but I mean, how wonderful that we can do it virtually and still be here with our guests.
Well, and here's the beautiful thing is, yes, 6 months ago or so, our world kind of stopped in a lot of ways. But what didn't stop is the need. The need's still there. The animals here at the zoo, they are so beautiful and so amazing. And being able to still care for them in a way here with the Wild Wines, just differently. We adapt, and my hat's off to you and Christy and Jen and all the rest of the crew, because when everything else kind of came to a stop, they said, you know what, we've got to do this. And so they adapted and they changed, and here we are in a virtual way. And now, even though we can't all be together like the 10 years in the past, really we are, just virtually. So we're all in this together. We have now people from all over the state, all over the country, probably all over the world, and we want to hear from all of you. So if you're watching, please let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching us right now, you've already got half the battle done because you found the link, you got to us. All right, the party is now on for the Wild Wines first virtual event. If you haven't already registered to be able to bid on these amazing items that we have, just send a text. Here's all you have to do. Just send Wild Wines to the number 22454. That's Wild Wines to 22454. You're going to get a link right back. That'll take you right to the auction site. So you are going to have 2 tabs. Now, here's how that works. Real easy. You can either have in your hand, your phone that you're doing your bidding from, and you're watching on your TV, your computer, whatever you happen to be doing right now. Or you can have 2 tabs on your computer that are open, and you can be able to go back and forth. Because unlike a live event, if you've been to a gala before where you're having to write down your bids and you're looking at all these items that you want and they're amazing, well, you walk away and guess what someone does? Yes, you've had it happen to you. Someone walks right behind you and they outbid you. Well, now, we really want people to do that. I'm sorry. I want you to have it. Susan wants you to have it. But we're trying to raise the most amount of money tonight as well as have a great time. So, but the beauty in this is before, unless you kept checking it, you didn't know that someone outbid you. Well, with this, no worries. Sit down, enjoy the evening, enjoy your O'Looney's wine, and you'll get a text message if someone happens to outbid you. You can also do the auto bid. This is a great way to be able to do it, because if you see one of the paintings from one of the animals that you would like to have, and they will look amazing in anyone's home or office, some of the sculptures, the trip to Costa Rica, whatever it happens to be, you can go, all right, I'm willing to spend this amount of money. And you just put that in there and put what your bid is. And every time someone outbids you, dink, you outbid them automatically, and you didn't even have to do anything. It just bids a little bit higher, and it keeps doing that till it hits your high bid. And at that point, you'll get a text saying, hey, it hit your high bid amount, and it gives you time to be able to go back in there all the way up through October 1st, where we're going to be closing things out at 8 p.m. So Bid War is going to start at 7:50, but we'll tell you more about that coming up in just a little bit. Right now, just relax, sit back, enjoy the evening, sip on your wine, and let's have a great time with the Wild Wines first virtual event. Now, Susan, one of our items for the bidding tonight is item number 139, and that is Babe doing the painting, Babe the elephant.
Yes.
And I got to see her earlier. She is beautiful, and I guess very artistic as well.
Babe is an artist, and she loves to paint. And our staff love to paint with her. And you can see when we were out with Babe that she really enjoys doing what she does. And it's part of the animal enrichment that we do with our animals every day here at the Little Rock Zoo. It's something that we do to stimulate both their mind and their body. It elicits natural behaviors. Now, it is true that animals do not paint in the wild, at least not in that way. But what it does is it encourages them to do things that they would naturally do in the wild. Use their trunks, use their mind to pick up things. It's a challenge to them. So while they might not paint on a canvas in the wild, they would do things where they would have to pick up small objects in the wild. And so doing things like that, using certain complicated processes like that, it's a form of enrichment that challenges them so that we're keeping their mind and their body active. So we do certain enrichment activities like painting and other activities like that to keep them interested. We use positive reinforcement in those kinds of situations. So when Babe paints, she gets a treat. And Babe is very much food motivated. I know that I am. There's many of us that are. But Babe is one of our most food motivated animals. So she does like to do things for treats. So it's very easy to get her to paint. She enjoys it. She enjoys the treats that she gets. So it's a win-win.
Well, and you could tell when we were walking around earlier and saw Babe, and she came right, it was almost like, so do you have anything for me?
Oh, yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. I'm
awesome.
sure earlier when you were walking around that she came right up and she was curious, like, are you one of the people that's going to give me something maybe? I don't know, because she thinks that anybody can be somebody that's going to give her something. Now, we do not encourage just anyone to give her things.
No, please
should
don't.
only come from qualified staff, but I'm sure she thought that you could have been somebody, because she does think that anyone could be one of those people, so yeah.
Well, it's so amazing, and it's been so beautiful getting to see all of the animals, see the enrichment, see their environment, and the way that the staff interacts with them is so beautiful. So you can go check that out, and we have a little bit more. In fact, here's Babe right now doing a little of her Picasso.
Hi, I'm Little Rock Zoo Director Susan Altrui, and I'm here at our elephant habitat, and I'm joined by some of our outstanding animal care team. I'm here with Kristen and Justin, and also the stars of our show, our wonderful elephants. And they're going to do something really, really interesting for you, and it's really a spectacular part of what we're offering here this evening. It's an opportunity to bid on an elephant painting. And Babe is going to do some of that painting for you. So Justin, if you want to take it away and start our painting, and Kristen, if you would explain to us a little bit about why we do painting here at the Little Rock Zoo with our elephants.
So we paint for a number of reasons. For enrichment, for an elephant, it kind of shows how dexterous their trunks are, because they have over 10,000 muscles in their trunk. So for Babe, painting is obviously very easy, but it's also a lot of fun, because she gets lots of nice treats. Today she's got watermelon. So every time she does a brush stroke on the canvas, she'll get some treats. So for her, it's a lot of fun.
And does Babe ever like to pick certain colors?
I think she does. I feel like she really likes blues.
And how often do you all paint with them?
So at least probably once a week, I would say, between events that we paint for, or just keeper paintings, or just for training. She probably paints at least once a week.
And what are you giving her as a treat?
She's getting watermelon, which is one of her favorite snacks.
What are some of her other favorite snacks?
She likes bananas, oranges, apples. Sometimes she even gets little pieces of candy like Skittles if we're training something new.
And who else is joining us here?
So this is Zyna. Zyna just turned 60, so she's our senior citizen of the group. And she's kind of here for moral support. That's Babe's best friend.
Well, Justin, why don't you show us a little bit of that painting that we've got done so far? Well, thank you, Babe, and thank you, Justin and Kristen and Zyna. And remember, you can bid on that right now. Just go on that auction link online and put your bids in for this wonderful, beautiful painting by Babe the Elephant. And all those proceeds help the wonderful care that we have here every day at the Little Rock Zoo. Thanks so much for joining us.
You know, I could watch that all day long. Just sit there and watch Babe painting. My goodness, that is amazing.
You know, it really is. It truly is something special and incredible. And what an incredible opportunity to be able to own one of those paintings.
Absolutely. And here's the beautiful thing. You're able to get this amazing piece of one-of-a-kind artwork. You can display it in your office, in your home. Every time you look at it, you know what it means. It's not just some painting you found at a store that happens to be really cool or some gallery. No, this is this one-of-a-kind piece by this beautiful, beautiful creature that you've actually been able to aid. And you're able to tell all your friends, all your family, all about Babe, all about the zoo, the conservation, and everything that happens with the community, with the Little Rock Zoo. And we're going to be talking more about that as we go along through the show here. Just how, yes, the animals are the star. They are first and foremost. And then there's you, the folks that get to come out. But the community as a whole and what the zoo is able to do for the community, it really is amazing.
You know, I'm so glad that you touched on that, because the zoo means so much to Arkansas, to our local community, and to so many. And it's just interesting to hear the stories we get from the public. From the kids, from the parents, the grandparents, from so many people that come and get to connect with the wildlife here. And that's so incredibly important, because we have some of the most endangered species here at the Little Rock Zoo. Species that we might not have here in a couple of generations. And if we can't make that connection between those species and the people that are coming here, we might not have that opportunity to be able to save these species and to save the wild places where they are. And that's what we try to do every single day here at the Little Rock Zoo, is educate the public, make that connection between the animals that we have here, because they really do serve as ambassadors for their kind that are out in the wild. And that's an important thing that we're trying to do every single day here.
Well, and that's the thing, it's more than just our entertainment to be able to be here. It's so much more than that. Yes, I smiled, I laughed, I thoroughly enjoyed myself while Sarah and I were going around the zoo earlier, as you would, because they have these incredible personalities that are so fun to watch. So yes, that is entertainment. But it's much, much more than that. These animals need us. They need you. And thank you. Thank you for your love, your care, your support. And that is two words you're going to hear a lot over the course of this next hour, is thank you. And really, thank you doesn't seem quite enough. But it's what we got, and we're going to say it a lot to you, because we appreciate you so much for your care and support. Please, if you haven't already, go ahead and get registered for the online auction. You don't want to miss out on these things. And together, we are going to be able to make a huge difference with this year's first virtual Wild Wines. You can text Wild Wines to the number 22454. Get registered right there. Now, if you have any questions, okay, we've got a phone line set up for you, and we've got folks ready to be able to answer any questions, technical issues you might have, or maybe you just want to make a donation over the phone. You want to talk to a human being, you can do that too. We got you covered in every way. You can call 1-208-807-3808. Number's right here for you. And you can be able to talk to someone and get everything taken care of. Now, we were just talking about enrichment, training, all the things that are so important. And we're going to be getting to see here in just a moment some of the training of one of the baby orangutans.
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, our baby orangutan, you really have not seen anything more precious. This baby orangutan and really, truly, again, something that I think speaks to how incredibly wonderful our staff are and the incredible expert care they give. What you're going to see is one of our staff do a training session with them, bring the orangutans up to our training window and be able to show some of the behaviors that we do behind the scenes. And we do that training as a way to enhance our animal care. Normally, we would have to do anesthesia to be able to get up close to some of our animals to see them, examine them, have our vet staff get closer to them. But if we can do training, bring them closer to us, we don't have to do that. It's a lot less stress for them. It means we can do more frequent examinations of them, provide better care for them. It really truly means we have a much higher standard of care for them. And two, it means that we can do these fantastic training demonstrations for the public, which let me tell you, when you have a baby orangutan, there is nothing cuter than that, than to be able to show the public a baby orangutan. So we are just over the moon about this one.
Well, okay, so we've told you about it. Now let's bring on the cuteness. Get prepared.
Hi guys, welcome to Wild Wines. So I'm here with our male orangutan Bandar, and we're gonna do a little bit of training with him if he wants to come up. See if he wants to come over here. Hi buddy. He lives here with Barani, who is our female orangutan, and then Kasi, which is our little baby. She just turned a year. But we do a lot of training here at Little Rock Zoo. It's all done through positive reinforcement, so they have to come and want to work with us. So if he's wanting to take a second, that's fine. He's actually getting some grapes and watermelon, which are some extra treats on top of his diet for wanting to come up and participate. But we do a lot of things to help our vet out, to help with their husbandry. He knows how to give me his hands and feet. Will you reach up? I know, buddy. To be able to check him out, we can do all sorts of different body parts. Here, buddy, we'll do this one instead. Can you give me your hand? Good boy. But the training's very mentally stimulating for him. It does, as I said, helps the vet out. Other than the body part presentation, he actually is injection trained, so he'll come press his arm up for a shot. It's easier, less stress that way. And it helps with him being able to participate in a lot of his own health care. All right, can we show him your teeth? Good job. So as I said, this is our male. The males and females look very different. He has a lot bigger size than the female. He has big old cheek pads. His ears are actually very tiny behind those cheek pads. There we go, buddy. Have your foot. So as you see, I'm doing a few just different basic body part presentation. But these guys do really enjoy training, so even when it's hot and he's not too motivated, he still wants to come see what I'm doing. Maybe. Back up here, buddy. Do hand one more time. There we go. Can you hold it up here? Good job. Can you come back up here and give me one more behavior? Let's see that foot again. So there's his foot, longo toes, long toes. And you can see he knows just a few little basic behaviors here. But thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks for coming up and meeting our Bandar. As I said, he is a Bornean orangutan, and he likes enjoying training and coming out and seeing you guys.
Well, I know you said how cute that baby orangutan is, but he is much more cute. You can't even describe that level of cuteness.
It is hard to really fully just bundle up all that cuteness into one statement.
Now, If you have your own little bundle of joy that's going to be coming along, well, we have an auction item for you. Again, if you haven't registered yet, real easy to do. All you have to do is just text the word Wild Wines, all one word, no spaces, to the number 22454, and that's going to give you the link to get registered, because you don't want to miss out on all these amazing things, one-of-a-kind things. And if you have your own baby on the way, well, we've got a baby basket for you too, number 168, and it's got lots of fun stuff in there for you.
Well, and probably the best thing about that basket is the zoo membership.
Yes.
And a zoo membership is a gift that keeps on giving all year round, because you get free admission to the zoo. And free admission to the zoo also means free parking. It also means you get discounts at our open air gift shop that we have right now. It's really a fantastic, fantastic thing. That alone is the hugest value that's in that gift basket, along with the adorable items that are in there.
Yeah.
So check out that picture, because there's really some amazing things in that item. So you'll want to bid on that for sure.
And I remember with my 3 girls, the first time when they were babies, taking them to the zoo. And just that look of wonderment, and how they would look at the animals, and how excited they would get. So really, it truly is the gift that keeps giving, because as much as they're going to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy not only seeing the animals and their environments here at the zoo, but also getting to see your own precious child and that joy that they're going to have on their face. It's the best. That is priceless. So number 168. And then now we've talked a lot about paintings and, of course, Babe's painting. We should probably check in and see how Babe's doing right now. Oh, she is doing great. I think we're getting close with that painting there.
Yes, we are getting close. But if the Babe painting is not for you, or if you want more than just one elephant painting, we also have this fantastic elephant painting.
I love it.
Right here, which is another elephant item. So not one painted by an elephant, but a fantastic elephant painting. This is item number 113, which is just really, really spectacular. I mean, look at all these beautiful colors. This is just truly amazing. I mean, I might bid on this. I mean, I have to go grab my phone and just check it out. But this is just a fantastic, fantastic painting.
And you might be battling me for this, because I think I might be bidding on it too.
Now watch out.
And here's the thing. Even what you're seeing right now, or the photos when you're going to bid on it, do not do it justice, because in person, it is such a beautiful, beautiful piece, and wherever you would want to display this. And that is item number 113. So if you haven't already, get registered, get those bids in there. Give us a call if you have any technical issues, 208. That's 807-3808. And don't forget, let us know where you are, where you're watching. Are you watching with family? Are you at the home? Maybe you're at the lake house down the way. Whatever it happens to be, tell us all about it. We want to hear what items you're bidding on, because we are all in this together. Now, Susan and I were just talking a little while ago about the enrichment and how important the enrichment is for all of the animals, all the way down to things like spreading food out around their enclosures so they go and discover where their food is, to Babe and her painting. And trust me, we have a lot of artists at the zoo here. We're going to talk more about that here in a few minutes as well. But all those things to, as you were saying, keep their mind and their mobility and dexterity all going and working, and keep them, that imagination going.
Well, it's interesting. For instance, our elephants are actually geriatric. They're old girls. We've got some that are in their 50s. And so having that mobility and keeping themselves active is very important. Our elephants, being older, they actually suffer from arthritis. It's much like humans. And so when you get older and you have arthritis, very important that you stay limber and that you exercise. Mm-hmm. So we do things like placing enrichment items, such as food, out in different parts of their habitat. So that they have to go hunt for their food, because that encourages exercise. Now, maybe they're on to something. Maybe that's something that I need to do. Maybe put my food out somewhere so that I have to take a few more steps, right?
It's a good idea, actually.
It's a good idea. But in all seriousness, it is a great way for us to encourage them to be more active and to also to use more of those natural behaviors we talked about. Because that's what they would do in the wild. They would go and search for food. And so we use different apparatuses to put some of their hay in so that they have to reach up high with their trunks and they have to pull the hay down. That mimics what they would do in the wild as well. So again, eliciting those natural behaviors. We often try to do that in their habitats as much as possible with elephants, with other animals as well.
Well, and with each and every one, it's finding what that enrichment is for that animal, because it's not one enrichment serves all. You know, you have to be specific with each animal. And when we were walking around earlier, it was one of the, I think it was a variety of wolf, but actually kind of looked like a hyena, and I don't remember the...
Could have been the maned wolves.
Yes, that was it, the maned wolves.
Yeah.
And so they had their enrichment out there, or the one did, and he had food all around. And so he looked up at us and he was walking around, he found his food and he's like, "You're not taking my food, right? Just checking." It was so cute. And but just watching him have to hunt, I guess you could say,
Sure,
for his food.
Well, and you know, that's the difference in being a zoo accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, is that we provide that higher level of care, that higher standard of care. Our staff are trained in how to do training and enrichment. And so that's one of the differences. And that's why it's so important to support zoos like the Little Rock Zoo, is because we are providing that higher standard of care for our animals.
Yeah, and just awareness for us as the public when we come in and we see all of them and their different habitats and stuff around the zoo. It's to mimic where they would be in the wild, but with that care, the veterinary care, the personal care for the animals, the enrichment, all of these things matter. And then our education, because we're the ones that need to be educated. The animals know what they want and what they need. We're the ones that need to know what they want, what they need, and how to be able to make sure that we are doing our part to make sure especially the endangered animals, that we're not getting to that point that in our lifetimes, in our children's and our grandchildren's lifetime, that they're not around. We need to be able to preserve them and their care. The otters are another one that I never get tired of watching otters. They are such clowns, and watching their enrichment, amazing.
Yeah, you cannot get bored watching an otter. They are one of the most playful animals that there is, and just an amazing creature. And we have North American river otters, we have spot-necked otters. They're just a really fun species, and just a ton of fun. So just one of my favorites. I mean, they're so playful, and I think that they're actually a zoo crowd favorite too.
Oh, I'm sure. And now they're going to be your favorite. If you haven't seen them yet, we're going to show you right now a little bit of the otter enrichment.
Hi guys, my name is Claire. I am a carnivore keeper here at the zoo. Next to me here is our river otter, Carly. She is 7. We've got some special enrichment for her today. So we had a bunch of watermelons donated to us, and one of our carnivore keepers actually carved a bottle and a wine glass out of it. Now if you can see that. But we're gonna throw this in and we'll see what Carly does with it. You ready? So watermelon is a treat. Otters are carnivores, which means they mostly eat meat. They do eat some vegetables here at the zoo, and they do get occasional fruit treats as well. So she might eat that, she might just play with it. Enrichment is something that all of our animals here at the zoo get. Otters especially are really curious, so we give them quite a variety of different things. They get something different every day. There, she finally noticed it. And sometimes animals will interact with enrichment, sometimes they totally ignore it. It's always up to the animal, and each animal has a different personality, so they're all different and unique. But Carly here again is a river otter. These guys are found in Arkansas. Pretty much if there's a permanent source of fresh water, you might find these guys. A lot of people see them up in the Buffalo, but they do live all over North America. They have some really cool facts, some unique facts. Like other otter species, they have a waterproof outer layer of fur. So as she's swimming around, you might notice she's really shiny and sleek. That outer layer of fur prevents water from getting to her skin, so it keeps her nice and dry. She's got a flattened tail that she's using to kind of steer herself around her pool. That acts kind of like a rudder for otters. They do have webbed feet, so they've got skin in between their toes. That helps them when they're swimming, but it also helps them when they're hunting. They're pretty efficient hunters. They're really quick. Obviously, they're really good in the water. They have all those cool adaptations to help them swim, but they do spend a lot of time on land too, so that's a big question that we get here at the zoo. Thank you guys for joining us tonight for our virtual Wild Wines fundraiser. We appreciate any money that you donate tonight. All of that money goes to help us care for our animals here at the Little Rock Zoo, but we also are able to use some of that money for conservation. Conservation is a really important part of AZA accredited zoos, and here in Little Rock we donate to multiple organizations, so all of your money goes to help us do that.
It is the first virtual Wild Wines, and welcome if you're just tuning in and haven't had a chance yet. You just got to see some of the amazing otters, their enrichment, and just how much fun and what big clowns they are. So you have plenty of time still to be able to get your bids in. We'll tell you more about the timing and bid wars and all the rest to come in just a few. But if you still need to get registered, go ahead and text Wild Wines to the number 22454. That'll get you all set up in just a moment. Now, I will have to say, next to the otters, I think my next favorite when we had a chance to walk around was a little 2-year-old gorilla, Bukavu?
Bukavu, yes.
Bukavu.
Our other toddler that we have in the great ape area is Bukavu. Adorable, fun, playful, just fantastic member of our gorilla family. Yes.
The adults were so stoic. It's kind of like us as parents when we're watching our kids. It's like we're older. We just got to sit there and look around and go, yeah. But he saw us walking up and he's like, okay, new people to put on a show for. And he was jumping around, and whatever he was doing, he kept looking over his shoulder to make sure we were still watching.
Yeah.
And it was, I could have sat there all day long, just pulled up a chair and continued to just watch him.
Well, for the Bukavu fans out there and for any of the great ape fans out there, you're going to want to bid on this item because this is a painting that was painted by Kivu, his father, and Bukavu. So this is really spectacular. It's got lots of color in it. And, it's not often that we have a painting that's done by both father and son. So This is really unique. Just a fantastic item.
Well, and it's beautiful. And if you've got to meet or see Bukavu and his dad, you would love to be able to have this. It will bring, it's making me smile just looking at it. It'll make you smile each and every day. And that's item number 120. So get over there, bid high, bid often, because all of this is going to the enrichment, the care, the betterment of these amazing creatures. So number 120, get those bids in on that. Now, when we were talking a little while ago about the care of the animals, yes, the enrichment is so important. Their environment, their food, all those things, so vitally important. And that's why we have this incredible staff here at the zoo to do all those things. And then next is their care. The veterinary care. Obviously, the vet that we take Fido and little Miss, Fuzzy, the cat to, are not what, we have here at the zoo.
Right.
It obviously takes a much different level of care.
Oh, it certainly does. When you get into veterinary medicine, you're talking about a much higher level of care, a much higher standard of care. And especially when you get into the care of zoo animals and you think about how many different types of animals there are, how many different versions and types and species that you're dealing with, the expertise level there. And think about all the different types of equipment that you might need. The kind of x-ray machine that you need for an elephant is very different than the x-ray machine that you need for some of our birds. Just the scale and the size
Yes.
of that equipment. We have to have a lot of different types of equipment to care for our animals here. And it's very expensive. What you need to intubate one animal is very different from what you need to intubate another when you're doing surgery. So there's a lot of things I think sometimes that people don't always realize that comes into the cost of running a full veterinary hospital, of a full veterinary clinic. Even the drugs sometimes. People are always amazed when I talk about the fact that a lot of our great apes, they take the same drugs that we do.
Yep.
We have a lot of our great apes that are on blood thinners. They're on heart medications. They're the same heart medications and blood thinners that we take as humans. And guess what? They don't have insurance plans for those. So so we have to pay the full price for that. We don't have an insurance carrier that pays for those medicines. We just have to pay the full price at the pharmacy. But it's essential that we have those medicines for them. We recently had a gorilla that had a stroke. And I'm very happy to say, though, that she is recovering, and
Good.
that is because of the excellent care that our veterinary team and our animal care team have been able to provide. She had quite a bit of immobility on her right side, but that mobility is coming back, and that's because of the medicine, the regimen of medicine that we're providing, and also because of some of the training that we're doing with her to encourage her to move and to get more mobile. And so she's starting to gain a lot of that mobility back. But there is expense involved in those things, and that's just one example of many. So that veterinary care, there is a cost to, for sure.
Well, Susan, not to put you on the spot here, but I'm going to. How many different species do we have here in the zoo?
We've got about 200 different species.
About 200.
And we've got about 500 animals here at the Little Rock Zoo. Now, if we're going to count every single individual Himalayan hissing cockroach, we can get up to 700 animals here at the zoo. So we like to say 500 because sometimes, we don't always go in and count in the tub how many individual Himalayan hissing cockroaches we have. But 500 is the number that we use when we're talking generally about the number of animals we have. But there's 200 different species, so that's a lot of different type of animals that we're caring for here.
Is there actually veterinary care for a hissing cockroach?
Believe it or not, there is.
There
We care
is.
for every different type of animal. Now, not nearly as complicated as a veterinary care for an elephant, but there is care for every animal here at the zoo.
Well, and here you get to see a little bit more of the facilities, the clinic, and the need of veterinary care.
Welcome everybody to the veterinary hospital. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying Wild Wines. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we do here for the veterinary care of the animals at the Little Rock Zoo. I'm Dr. Stoneberg. I am the only veterinarian on staff, and we take care of every single animal here at the zoo. That includes our little naked mole rats up to our elephants. They each get preventative care, so just like you would when you go to the doctor, they get physical exams yearly, they get blood work, and they get x-rays. And it takes a lot to keep them up to date on what they need for their health care. We do most of our procedures up in this room. This is our treatment room where we will anesthetize our animals and we'll do blood draws. And then we have a radiology room where we take radiographs, as well as a surgical suite if any of the animals do need surgery. And we have a couple cases that have kind of displayed our excellent care that we provide here at the Little Rock Zoo. One of those cases is our sloth bear Zara. She was pulled from her mother at a very young age and hand-raised here in the hospital. The reason for pulling her is that she was not receiving adequate care from her mother. And so we were able to, here at the vet hospital, with the help of the keeper staff, raise her to what she is now. And she is thriving out on exhibit and loves to see people. Another recent case of what we do here with our animals is Catherine the gorilla. Catherine the gorilla suffered a stroke and was paralyzed on her right side. We pulled together as a veterinary staff as well as a keeper staff to
to get her a CT to fully diagnose what was going on in her brain. And she's making a great recovery and is now using her right leg and eating and acting like a normal gorilla. In order to keep these things up to date and make sure these animals are getting the best care possible, we function just like a normal hospital would. And we do need some updating to further improve our anesthetic protocols and make sure they're getting the best care they need. Of those include a new EKG monitor that has an esophageal probe to allow us to directly access EKGs straight from the heart and listen straight from the heart as they're under anesthesia, as well as a blood gas machine called an iStat, which allows us to do bedside blood work to make sure that we are keeping a good plane of anesthesia for those animals. With your guys' help, hopefully we can improve the care that is already outstanding here at the Little Rock Zoo and keep them happy and healthy for a very long time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
It's a Wild Wines virtual event here from the Little Rock Zoo. I'm Corey Michaels, Susan Alturi, we're with me as well, and we are having such a great time. I hope you are as well, and I hope you enjoyed getting to see how much love and care gets put into caring for the animals here at the Little Rock Zoo. Over 200 species, as you were saying, Susan, and you can see, obviously, for us, what we use equipment-wise for a preemie baby is not the same as a regular term baby, not the same as a toddler, and so on and so forth. Well, it's the same for the species here at the zoo, depending on their size, depending on what their level of care is. And as she was just saying in that wonderful video there, was the need for the new equipment, for the iStat. It's a point-of-care blood analysis machine that right now, if there's having to be blood work, it's having to be sent out to a state lab and wait, and that could be a week. It could be longer.
That's right. And part of why we're needing some new equipment is what you just said. We need to have results faster. What we're doing right now is okay, but we can do better. We want to be able to get those results immediately, and that's what having some of that equipment would do. Dr. Stoneberg would love to be able to have some of those machines like that iStat equipment so she can get those results instantly and be able to get that diagnosis quickly. We would be able to deliver a higher level of animal care if we could have that equipment. So if you go to that number, that 171 auction number, you can help us contribute towards us purchasing that equipment. It's a great way to help the zoo, help us to provide better animal care.
Right. And that's, again, is what it's all about. So item number 171 is a chance for you to be a part of that, being able to be here at the zoo, that level of care, just one more notch higher. And that's what is always happening here is, okay, we got this, it's great. Now, what do we need for the next level and the next level? Because if there's an emergency that happens, you don't want to be waiting around for a week to find out results for care. We want to be able to care for the animal right now. And at $15,000 for this blood analysis machine, no, it's not cheap, but it's vital. And you can help be a part of making sure that that is here. Number 171 is the item number when you're doing your bidding. If you haven't gotten registered yet, all you have to do is just send Wild Wines to the number 22454, and you can get registered, make your donations, make your bids on all the incredible auction items. We're going to be talking about a few more of those in just a moment. One of the other ones that was mentioned by Dr. Stoneberg?
Yeah, Stoneberg.
Is 172, and that's the eye care. Now, this is, you know, when you go to the optometrist and they blow that puff of air in your eye? It's the same thing, essentially, only for the animal. So a little bit different, but same theory, and that's $4,000. But again, a vital piece of equipment that is needed for the care of the animals. So 171, 172, both ways for you to be able to help make the lives better for the animals here at the Little Rock Zoo. All right, Susan, this event is called Wild Wines for a reason. Hopefully you have your wine at home or wherever you happen to be. No judgment on our part. Trust me, as soon as we're done, we're going to have our own wine going on. But what would our event be without Jonathan O'Looney? And O'Looney's has been such a huge supporter, over a decade now of the zoo?
Oh, gosh, definitely. You know, O'Looney's and Jonathan Looney have really been instrumental in making Wild Wines a success. And I think one of the key elements that has made this event so successful has been that Jonathan Looney and his team have personally curated the event. You know, sometimes you go to an event that's a wine event and you kind of see some of the wines that might have been left over in the back of the shelf that they've kind of pulled out and said, well, these didn't sell too well. Let's just throw these out here on the front. And that's not been the case with Wild Wines. You know, Jonathan takes a lot of pride in this event, and he uses it as a way to really showcase his love for wine, and he wants other people to enjoy wine. And so he uses it as an opportunity to really help people come to wine and appreciate wine with him. And so he really hand selects those wines that we have at our event. And that's really created a quality event for the VIP night that we do on Friday night, and then for the regular event that we do on Saturday night. You know, on Saturday night, we have 200 plus wines, and they're all high quality wines. They're fantastic wines. And then on the VIP night, those wines are just stellar. They're spectacular. And you think, like, how can he outdo himself again year after year? But he always does. It really just is why we continually, year after year, get voted the best fundraising event in the state. I really do think it's because of that special touch that Jonathan Looney brings to the table every single year. So we are grateful for that, because he donates that product, he brings it to the table, and he really adds that special touch. We're so grateful to him.
Well, we have our very first virtual Wild Wines event here at the Little Rock Zoo. So let's do a little virtual wine tasting with Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Looney. I'm with O'Looney's Wine and Liquor. I'm a certified sommelier, and I enjoy supporting the Little Rock Zoo for its mission of conservation and community. I want to talk a little bit about wine today. This is my purview, something that I love and can get very passionate about. Today I'm tasting the Dow Cabernet. I don't even know what vintage. Let's take a look. This is 2018, recently produced, a delicious wine. It shows red in the glass. See, red wine. It's very straightforward, this wine talk. First things first, when tasting, I like to set the glass on a hard surface, on a flat surface, and give it a little swirl. I've heard it said before, a swirly swirl is the way to start. That breaks the surface tension of the liquid and allows the smells to emanate from the glass. Then I'm going to take a little sniff. The sniffing of the wine enhances the enjoyment, I think, because a lot of the taste that comes from a wine comes from your olfactory bulb in your head. So get on in there, get your nose in there, get your mouth in there, open your mouth a little bit, enjoy the smells. Then I'm going to give it another little swirl, and finally the best part, the taste. Now you notice I did a little swish in my mouth. You see wine people doing this all the time. Why do we do that? It's to paint the interior of your mouth with all the flavors and tastes and smells in the wine. And then when swallowing, I note that this wine is incredibly acidic, full-bodied, balanced, fruity, delicious, blackberry, boysenberry, blueberry, lots of fruits, and then acidity and balance and a little bit of fine tannin that comes to us from the place these grapes were grown. Guys, thanks so much for your support of the Little Rock Zoo.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, and the rest of the crew there at O'Looney's for being such amazing supporters of the animals here at the Little Rock Zoo.
Well, and another fantastic thing that Jonathan is going to do for us. You can go online and you can still order some of those fantastic wine packages that Jonathan has curated now through October 1st. So if you didn't already get one of those amazing wine packages that hopefully you are sipping on right now and enjoying, there's still time to order those. Or if you're already enjoying one and you say, well, heck, I want to get another one, there's still time to do that. And the proceeds from those wine packages benefit the zoo. So take advantage of that and order another one of those wine packages, or go ahead and take advantage of it. You just saw how awesome Jonathan is with that wine and how he hand selects it, how great those wines are at O'Looney's. Check it out and help benefit the zoo too.
Well, and with school back in session right now, and especially with all the virtual, schooling happening at home, and you've had the kids at home for all these months and trying to now be parent, teacher, whatever. Really, it's back to school shopping for mom and dad.
Oh, treat yourself. Treat yourself.
Look
Absolutely.
at it that way.
Treat yourself. That's right.
So get on there, get that, be able to help yourself and the zoo all at the same time. It's a win-win for everyone. Now, one of the other favorite parts for me when I was walking around, and it's so hard to try and rank because each and every one of the animals here are so incredible in their own personalities, and you can just look in their eyes and you can see as they're looking at you and they're figuring things out and you're watching them, and it's amazing to see their interaction with each other and with us being the ones that are coming into their home. And the penguins, as much as I loved the gorillas and the chimps and watching all of them, the penguins and the otters, well, I would say the penguins were right up there with the chimps and the gorillas, and probably, neck and neck with the otters for me. And when we got there, they were all kind of hanging out up top, and you could tell it was almost like they had a little football huddle that happened, because they looked around, they saw us, and then they got together, and their heads would turn and look at us every once in a while, and then back into the huddle. And then all of a sudden, one of them, ding, 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 hopped around like he was doing recon, and just looking at us, went back to the rest of the group. It was like just watching the whole process of him and, giving the updates on what the people were doing.
They are the funniest little animals, and they are so incredibly interesting to watch. And that is one of our most popular habitats, is Laura P. Nichols Penguin Point. And one of the biggest reasons why is because you can see them swim underwater. And that's part of the reason why we built that habitat, is because of the underwater viewing and seeing them swim. And when you see the kids cling up against that glass, and then you see the penguin come right up to the face of one of those kids, that's when you know that there has been a connection made. And I think that's what's so special about that habitat, and what's so special about the penguins. The penguins are so curious, and they love coming up and greeting guests that way. And those kids, when they see that, it's just a magical, magical moment.
Okay, Susan keeps saying kids, but of course Sarah and I were up against the glass. So
oh, well, yeah.
Really, it doesn't matter the age of said kids.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. We're all kids at heart. We are. We're all kids at heart.
Well,
no matter what age.
And, we've been showing you this wonderful art that you can be able to bid on. That we have Babe the elephant, which, we'll check in with her just in a moment here to see how she's doing with her painting. But we've got the chimpanzees, gorillas. We've got all these amazing artistic animals. The penguins, not to be outdone, have this art piece.
That's right. We have some amazing artists here at the Little Rock Zoo. And
really do.
The penguins decided to jump in on the fun. So this is some fantastic penguin art we have here with their little feet running all over the canvas. So this is one of my favorites, actually.
Yes.
It's got some fantastic rainbow colors on it. And this one was done by the penguins Vinny and Taz. So how about that for names, Vinny and Taz? And this is item number 128. So jump online and bid on this right now. If you're a penguin lover, or you know someone who is a penguin lover, you got to have this piece. I mean, this is really, truly nothing but fun. So yeah, this is a great item.
Well, and this will brighten up your life, your room, your home, your office, because it is these gorgeous, beautiful, vibrant colors. And you know that it's not a print, not a rendering of what it would look like. This was actually done by Vinny and Taz and their own little flippers. And so this can be yours. Number 128. If you haven't gotten registered yet, just send that Wild Wines, all one word, no spaces there, to the number 22454, and you can be able to bid on this, all the other wonderful. In fact, I think you should bid on every single art piece. You can just decorate your whole home. We said it was okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead. You can get bids on all of them. And while you're doing that, let's have some more fun with the penguins. It's so wonderful. But something you may not know, maybe you do, is that we always think of penguins, and from commercials and movies and everything, where they're always somewhere up at the North Pole and sliding around on ice and doing all that. But not all of them are that way. And these penguins are one of the species that they don't like ice. They like beaches.
That's right. Ours are actually African penguins, which means they are warm-weathered species. And believe it or not, more of the penguins that we have are actually warm-weathered, not cold-weathered. There are quite a few different species of penguins. Most of the penguins we have in our world are actually tropical. They are not cold-weathered. So that's a little fun fact that most people don't realize, is that they're more likely to find a penguin on the beach, not on snow. So that's a fun little fact there.
Well, and you know who else likes beaches? Me,
Yes.
Susan, and I'm sure you
Yes.
as well. And especially since we've been so sheltered at home while we've been going through all this. And
That's right.
we haven't had that trip to look forward to, that experience to be able to go. The biggest experiences we've had is, are we going to the kitchen or are we going into the backyard? I know, we've all been in this together. But here on item number 103 and number 104, you can be able to have a beautiful experience and that beach at one of my favorite places on the planet.
Costa Rica.
Yes.
Yeah. Costa Rica is just an absolutely great place to go. We have two fantastic auction items. One of those auction items is the best of both worlds. It's two different houses. So you spend part of the time on the coast, part of the time in a lake house. And what's great about that is sometimes when you go to Costa Rica, you want to experience different parts of the country. Yeah. So with that split vacation, you get to do that. Now, there are some people that might want to say, I just want to stay on one property the whole time, spend all 7 days there, and that's great, because both of these properties are really high level. We're talking about like lots of bedrooms. We're talking about luxury the entire time you're there, infinity pools at both properties. You will want to stay on these properties. Get some buddies together, go in on it together. There's plenty of space at both of these properties. You will not want to miss out on this opportunity.
Well, now, and how many does this sleep?
10.
10.
10.
So here's the
Lots
thing.
of people, plenty of people, probably more than that if you really want to think about it and you really want to go in on it. You could probably put some more people than that if you really wanted to give it a try. I'm sure there's sofas in there if you really wanted to fit more. But, you know, conservatively, it's 10, so.
So go ahead and get together with all your friends and your family. If you're sitting there right now enjoying the watch party for our Wild Wines event, come on, start chipping in, and for a great price, you're going to be able to help the zoo and help yourself all at the same time. Now, one of the big things that we're focused on tonight with the Wild Wines event is education, and that is something that is so very important for the zoo, for our community, for our world.
Yes.
Now, this is something they strive for each and every day, and a complete staff that is here to be able to further the education, further the enrichment of the animals and us as individuals. And Hannah Baker and Brian Kuch, they are here to be able to tell us a little bit about what they do each and every day.
Hello everyone, thanks for participating in our virtual Wild Wines event this evening. My name is Brian Kuch, I'm the education curator at the Little Rock Zoo. And the zoo participates in education in a variety of ways, and we do that because it's a core part of our mission to help explain to people, both adults, youth, why it's important to conserve our natural world. The education department does that through a variety of methods. Some of those include outreach, some of those include programs on grounds at the zoo, and one of the biggest things that we do here through our summer camp program and our winter break and spring break programs is bring in hundreds of kids throughout the year to learn both in person and now virtually about those animals. We do tours of the zoo, we do crafts or activities with the kids and really get them excited about conservation. The fund a cause for this evening, which is at $250, is to help a child go to camp. And like I mentioned, there's a few different seasons and a couple of different ways, virtual and in person, that could take place. We would really appreciate your support of the zoo and this very popular and very educational program I mentioned how fun we try and make it for the kids, but we also have educators who work very hard on writing curricula to ensure that it's educational and really carries a lasting value for the children after they leave camp. We also educate folks throughout the community through our outreach program. We have ambassador animals that are that work with our zookeepers and education staff to help relay that message even further with the kids and with adults in the community. One of the ways that we can really get people excited about conservation and education is our outreach program with our macaws. I think you have a special treat coming up with Hannah and the flight of some of our macaws.
Hey girl. Hi guys, my name is Hannah and this is Samba. And Samba would like to say hello. Can you wave? Good job. Samba is a green-winged macaw, so she is in our Little Rock Zoo's Conservation Education Department. Green-winged macaws have a very important job in the rainforest ecosystem where they live. Because as you guys can see her enjoying her almond, she's a really messy eater. So by dropping all of these seeds in the rainforest, these guys are helping new plant life grow. So what's amazing about her being an ambassador animal is that she gets to represent and teach kids all over the state through our educational program about these guys and about all wild animals in the rainforest and other ecosystems. So there's a big difference between seeing a macaw in a book or on a screen and seeing one of these guys up close, which is what she provides, building that connection and helping kids understand why we love these animals and why you should too. So by participating in our event tonight, you're helping us reach this mission and this goal. So by joining our virtual Wild Wines, your donations, your auctions, everything you're doing is helping to support the Little Rock Zoo and this mission. Not only for us, but for these animals and the world we live in. So thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. We're going to show you a demonstration on what these guys do in our programs. So enjoy the rest of your night.
You know, I don't know that everyone really realizes how much happens here at the zoo that we don't know about. The going out into the community, the help with the homeless population and kids that wouldn't be able to afford to come otherwise and get that education, to be able to go to the Zoofari camp and all of that. It truly is nonstop for the community, for the education of all of us. And I don't know how your staff continues to keep up with all that is going on.
Well, you know, I'm so glad you brought up education, because I think now more than ever, we have seen the importance of what our education department is bringing to the table. Right now, we are conducting an unbelievable amount of virtual classes because of COVID-19. And that's so important. It's so important that we continue to educate people about conservation, that we continue to do STEM learning in the classroom and have that enhancement to learning with animals and bring animals to the public in whatever form or fashion that might be. There's a lot of research out there that talks about the importance of learning about animals and how important it is to have the zoo in the classroom. and what zoos bring to the classroom. When you have animals in learning and have it as part of a curriculum, it enhances STEM education, it enhances learning. And the other thing too is that it's so important for us to really talk about conservation right now. We have species that are dying at really an alarming rate right now. It's 10,000 times more than it has been in years past. And that's really truly alarming, because when we're missing those species and we're losing those species, we lose one key species and we lose another species and another species, eventually that starts to come back around to us.
Yeah.
It's affecting us as human beings. It's not just about saving a cute animal anymore because we think that animal is cute. It's now about saving our world, because this is the world that we live in. It's about our own survival now.
Yeah.
So conservation is really about the conservation of all of us. It's about the survival of all of us. And so this world that we're living in, this conservation that we're talking about, has real impacts that are going to be lifelong and really can be life-changing for all of us. It's really about the respect of all life, and that's what we're teaching here at the Little Rock Zoo with our education program.
And that's so beautifully put and not overstated. I mean, in fact, if anything, we can't stress enough how important this is for all of us. And yes, the respect for each and every life that is out there, from, yes, the cute little furry ones to the spiky ones to all of us that are walking around and caring for our families and ourselves every day. We're all connected. And I think being able to have that education from an early age and that respect instilled in our children from an early age, we're going to have a better world moving forward with that respect, because that's something that I think is easily forgotten, is the plain and simple respect for life.
It is, and our education department has been doing a great job. We have an incredible education department. I'm so proud of our staff and of what they've been doing. And going virtual has costed us a lot of money. We've had to buy new equipment, we've had to buy computers, we've had to buy cameras. There's been a cost to it, and we've had to pivot. We've had to change a lot of what we do in our outreach, but we think it's important. We think that it's important for us to get out into the classrooms and to coordinate with so many of these schools that are doing a lot of this blended learning right now with virtual and in person. And so it's important for us to still maintain that same level of interaction with the students in whatever form or fashion that might be. So that support, that financial support that we get from things like Wild Wines, it's more critical now than it's ever been.
And we are in this together. So if you haven't already, please do. Send that text, just Wild Wines, to the number 22454.
The Little Rock Zoo has served Arkansas families since 1926. We change our community for the better every single day by inspiring people to value and conserve our natural world. When people connect with animals, it changes them. It increases their respect for wildlife and for all living creatures. Our Little Rock Zoo is important to so many and needed by so many. We need our Little Rock Zoo for the homeless woman that chose to spend her only dollar during Highland Dairy Dollar Day here in our zoo. We need our zoo to provide access to conservation learning. Most children in Arkansas will never get the chance to go on an African safari and see these amazing creatures up close and personal. Our zoo provides the chance for all Arkansans to see these beautiful creatures and experience magical moments as a family. We need our Little Rock Zoo for chronically ill children, like the little boy from Arkansas Children's Hospital who became motivated to participate in his physical therapy after watching the zoo's penguins waddle. It inspired him to participate in his own physical therapy and be able to walk again. Our many families with Arkansas Children's Hospital participate in Virtual Dream Night this year, including one special family who participated in the memory of their daughter because of her special connection with Brutus the gorilla. Not only are we improving the lives of Arkansans, but we also get the chance to change the world for the better and save animal lives around the world. Funds from events like this, Wild Wines, allow us to send our staff to participate in saving species. Recently, zoo staff traveled to South Africa to help release endangered African penguins back into the wild, and other staff have traveled to Namibia to assist with cheetah conservation. These are just a few of the examples of how the Little Rock Zoo actively helps save wildlife every day. and your dollars help make that possible. We can't continue to do this important work without the help of our generous sponsors and donors like you. Your support of the Arkansas Zoological Foundation funds the great work of our zoo and is needed now more than ever. We thank you so much for your time and for your generosity.
Hi, I'm Lester Matlock of Natural State Private Wealth Group here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'm supporting the Little Rock Zoo this evening because I believe in conservation and protecting our animals.
My name is Jonathan Looney, and I support the Little Rock Zoo because of its conservation mindedness and connection to the community. And to be honest, my kids love it. I challenge you right now, pick up your portable mobile device, click on the button that says Donate Now, and just to the left of it, there's a blank space where you can custom craft your own donation. Type a number, add 50. Donate now.
Hi, my name is Lot Rolfe, and I'm donating $150 to the Little Rock Zoo because I loved going to the zoo as a child, and I hope to one day take my future grandchildren to the Little Rock Zoo.
As you see, it takes each and every one of us together to be able to make this happen. We so appreciate you, and as we've said this entire event, thank you. And we told you you're going to hear it a lot and that you can't hear it enough. Thank you, because your love, your care, your support for these animals, for this staff, for this incredible facility, that's what allows them to be able to do the wonderful work each and every day. There's been zoos and other establishments like this that have had to reduce staff, because just like with the Little Rock Zoo, had to close down because of COVID, as so many establishments had to for those few months from March, April, May, and that was some of the most important months of the year.
That's right. When COVID was first discovered in Arkansas, we were required to shut down in March, April, May, June, first part of June, and those are our busiest months. That's our spring season. That's when we see so many visitors from all over the state, and what we call yellow fever, when we have all of those yellow school buses coming from school field trips. And we didn't see any of that, and so that was a huge financial impact on us.
Well, and for a lot of the facilities around the country, some of them were having to let go of a lot of the education staff, some of the other staff from the facilities, just to try and stop the bleeding through all of this. That hasn't had to be the case here because of you, because of your generosity. We've been able to keep this wonderful staff working hard each and every day, and just like adapting to make this event work once again and to make this available for all of us to be able to enjoy together. It also allowed the staff to be able to adapt and come up with new ways, like Zoofari, being able to do the first virtual one because it was important for the kids to still be able to have that. They found a way. We will persevere. We will be able to make it through all this, but it takes all of us together. I mean, here's the thing. We're not the stars of this. These animals, they are the stars of this event. We are merely the advocates. We happen to have the speaking voice to be able to communicate for them to you about the need. And so here is the moment of the program where we're able to ask you for your love, your care, your support. We hope that you are enjoying everything and have just been overloaded with cuteness and adorableness of all the different animals, and that you are bidding high and been bidding often and having fun with the great items on the online auction. But here's a moment where we ask you for what you have the capability of, to be able to just give, to continue these efforts, to continue the education, to continue the amazing work that is done every day. If you go to item number 100 on the auction, this is a chance for you to just be able to give, for this to be able to continue. Now, if you have the ability that you could give the gift of $50,000, I mean, $50,000 equates to a year of feeding for all of the big cats. Now, it seems like a large number, but think about it. those are big kids that we're talking about, and they have their special diets that they have to have.
Big meat eaters. They do eat a lot of meat, and that's why it's expensive to keep big cats.
And there is so much that is going to be able to go. So when you're walking around and you're enjoying the zoo, and hopefully you're going to be back out and bringing the kids and having fun once again very soon if you haven't already. And so when you're looking at each and every one of these animals, when everything had to stop for those few months or so, and it's still, coming back around to whatever our new form of normal is going to be, those animals all of a sudden, they didn't stop being hungry. They didn't stop needing care and veterinary care and medicines and food and all of those things. That still has to happen each and every day, just like we have to have our food and our medicine or whatever the case may be to be able to make it through our day. Well, same with our animals. So I know $50,000 is a lot, but if you have that ability and want to be able to give that gift, get the tax credits for it, and more importantly, be able to help these amazing animals, please do so at item number 100. Now, if $50,000 is a little high, we understand. $10,000, a $10,000 gift. This is going to enhance the vet clinic. As we were talking about earlier, that new equipment that is constantly needed because of the number of species that we have, over 200. The size difference from this big to, that big, and a lot larger than that when we're talking about the elephants. Obviously, we need a lot of equipment, that blood testing equipment that we need to be able to get that vital information and care available for the animals quicker than having to send it to the state. The eye machine, I know that's really a technical term right there, that's going to be so much money. You're able to help to make sure that we have the best veterinary care possible at that $10,000 level. Now, $1,000, if you're able to give the gift of $1,000, you're able to make sure that we can save animals in the wild as well.
That's right. And as a zoo that's accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, we are required to partner with organizations that are actually doing the hands-on work to save animals in the wild. And through the Arkansas Zoological Foundation, our partnering organization who is sponsoring this event tonight, and through who our donations go through, we're able to do a lot of that great work where we're working to save animals in the wild. And so your contribution will help us to help them.
So that's what you can be able to do with that gift of $1,000. Now, we'll move on to a gift of $250. And remember, you can just right there on item number 100, be able to slide that to whatever dollar amount that you are comfortable with. If $250, if that's a little more comfortable for you and your family, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And that is going to help to send a child, as we were just talking about a few minutes ago, to Zufari, so that just kids with the financial ability, whose families have that financial ability to be able to send them, that they're not the only ones. Of course we want them to be there, but we also want the kids that maybe don't have that ability right now to spend that, to be able to make sure that we can gift them with being able to have that education.
Absolutely.
Now, at the $100 gift level, you can hydrate an elephant for a year. Now, think about that. We all know how big an elephant is. And it's only $100 to be able to hydrate them for an entire year?
Well, that contributes to our water bill.
Okay.
So they do drink a lot of water, and it does cost us a lot of money. So that's to help to pay for our water bill. So
well, we want to keep them hydrated and healthy and happy, and they are so fun. And I'm not sure the name of the one when we were walking around earlier, but it was so funny. It was like she had a song in her head. And for like 5-10 minutes, she just started swaying like she was swaying to a song.
It could have been Babe or Zonnie. They're all ex-circus elephants, and so sometimes they'll do that every once in a while.
And so that's just one example of the gift of $100 can do. $50, you can feed a cheetah for a day. Now, just like we were talking about with the big cats, the cheetahs Still big cats, not quite as big as some of the other ones we were talking about. But think about that, because the meat and the nutrients and the other things that are required for their diet, you're able to feed a cheetah for about $50 a day. Now, $25, the adorable penguins that we were just speaking of just a little while ago. And oh my goodness, how smart they are, and how they need that enrichment. They need to constantly be doing something and finding things to keep their mental state working and all of that. You can buy a toy, a plaything for the penguins for about $25. You know, this is something where I know whenever we do these events, there's people that will send us messages that say, this is all I can do. I'm sorry. Please, 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 please do not apologize, because what you can give, it is what you have the ability to be able to give, and we appreciate it more than we can possibly tell you. So whether that is $25 or $25,000, there is no donation that is too small. There's also no donation too large either, just to let you know. But no, it's all of us together. It's my donation along with Susan's donation, along with your donation, and so forth. And all of us together, that's where we're able to make magic for these animals happen and continue this amazing education and facility, and continue to grow, continue to educate for decades and decades to come. I want this. We all want this to be something that your kids, your grandkids, and your great-great-great-great-great-grandkids are going to be able to enjoy and appreciate. And together, we're going to be able to do that. Now, the auction is going to be open for another week, all the way until October 1st. And as you can see with the leaderboard, it keeps getting higher and higher. Thank you so much for all those donations that are coming in and have been coming in and continue to come in. So we'll be going until 8 o'clock. Coming up next week on the 1st, then at 7:50 on the 1st is when the bid wars start. Now, this is a lot of fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to participate in. What bid wars mean is someone cannot wait until the last second and outbid you. And then it's like, wah, you didn't get this thing you really wanted, whether it was one of the animal paintings, the Costa Rican trip, or any of the other fabulous crystal sculptures, or any of those things. They can't do that, because when we're in bid wars, when someone tries to outbid you at the last second, it's going to add a few minutes. And then you're going to get notified that you've been outbid, and you have time to be able to go on, outbid them, and then they'll get a notice. So basically, every bid that comes in after the bid wars start, it's going to keep extending it out by a few minutes until there is only one. Again, it's a lot of fun, and you can see how great things are going so far, but we have another week. So keep sharing this out. If friends, family around the country, around the city, around the state weren't able to watch tonight, share this with them after we are done, and let them know how important it is, and that they can still be able to give, that they can still be able to make a difference. And you know what? Together, we're going to make a huge difference, the same as you have each and every year with the Wild Wines. And we so appreciate you being able to be with us here today. And I know, Susan, you have some thank yous that you would like to say.
So many thank yous. We just can't thank all of you for joining us tonight enough, and can't thank you for supporting us every year with our Wild Wines event. Unfortunately, we couldn't have it in person, but having it virtually means we could have even more people join us tonight. So thank you for being with us, and thank you for supporting the Little Rock Zoo and the Arkansas Zoological Foundation.
All right. On behalf of myself, Corey Michaels, Susan Alturi, the rest of the staff here at the Arkansas Zoo, and each and every one of those wonderful furry kids and feathered kids, don't want to leave them out either, around the zoo.
Feathers, scales, and all of it. Right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. Bless you. Have a great day, and keep those bids coming in. Bid high, bid often. If you haven't already, well, go ahead. Get registered right now that you've enjoyed the show, and get that bidding going. Get the donations coming in.
And visit us at the zoo.
Absolutely.